Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Happy to see you all. All right. Okay. Good. So let's bless our speech. Oh, hang on. Let's make our speech worthwhile. Give it power. And meanwhile, purify our minds and purify our body, because speech is wind, and wind is the subtle body, and benefit others. Okay. So all the yogis have found over the centuries is sort of a really appropriate way to sit that makes it most conducive for the mind to do its job, because the body doesn't meditate. We're very addicted to our bodies, I think, and if we feel good, we think, oh, I had a good meditation. Well, it's just silly. The mind meditates. In fact, the body's in the way. It's a hassle. So just let's, for a second, go through that posture just to get ourselves ready. The ideal one is the full lotus position, as His Holiness the Dalai Lama says. Best. I mean, he says it's really auspicious to start your session, if you can, to start your session sitting in full lotus. And why full lotus is practical, because the subtler physical energies are able to flow very smoothly and clearly, and because the great yogis who meditate a long time, when you're in full lotus position, you're totally stable. You can sit there for days on end. You don't topple over. It's very practical. So if you can't do that, it's okay. Sink one leg up on the other. If you can't do that, ordinary cross-legged. If you can't do that, sit in a chair. If you can't do that, lie down, whatever, whatever you can do. The first point is about 8 points. The first point's the legs. Second is your bottom. I mean, if you've got not flexible legs and you can sit like that, then you'd have a cushion just under your coccyx, something under your coccyx, just to prop you up slightly. Otherwise, you have to find the cushion that fits for you. And the third is your back, to be very upright. So if sitting cross-legged, it has to be upright, otherwise you'll slump. But, if you sit in a chair, we get very lazy and flop it back into the chair. Well, you shouldn't. Sit upright. Don't sit back into the chair. Hold your own body up. And then that means having your feet firmly planted on the ground. That's important. Otherwise, you just space out. The body's sumped. And that's the legs, the bottom, the back. And your hands in the meditation mudra, lots of different positions for the hands. But the one we learn classically, left underneath, right on top, thumbs touching, like that, in your lap. Then your shoulders, not slumped, up, open, upright, but not tense. And then I add this piece to it. We don't like looking fat, so we always squeeze our abdomen in. So especially if we're sitting upright, we squeeze our muscles. So put yourself upright, but now flop your muscles and stay upright. All your muscles relaxed, but body upright. Then your head, several things. First, your chin slightly tucked in. Don't have your head thrust back. Slightly tucked in, head slightly forward. Your jaw relaxed, lips slightly apart. And then the tip of your tongue resting behind the top teeth, just near your palate. And again, the yogis have found, very practical, because they sit there for days on end meditating, it stops you from dribbling. So all this is practical, not holy. Probably from not having to swallow all the time as well. And finally, your eyes looking down, as if you're looking along your nose towards the ground. So again, the yogis who meditate all day, every day, it's good to have the light come in to help the mind stay sharp. But of course, most of us get so distracted because we don't have good concentration. Maybe have them lightly closed, but looking down under your eyelids. So that's in the position. Settle into it and then forget about your body. So we think just for this little 25 minutes, we're going to do this little visualization, using our creative imagination to bless our speech, the most powerful thing we can do, the most powerful gift we can give to others. The main gift of the Buddha is a speech. That's advice. It's the greatest offering you can give anybody. Advice to help their mind. Lama Zopa said you can give food to every being on the planet. Inconceivable, the virtue, the benefit. But you only benefit their bodies. But you give one piece of advice to one person's mind, which can then in turn benefit countless other beings and help that person get enlightened. That's far more powerful. Of course, do both. But speech is stupendous. That's how we use this human life properly. So we need the blessing the speech little mantras, Matt. Whatever we did last week. So just, you only need to look. I'll lead you in the visualization. You just need to look when we get to the mantras, okay? Thanks. Okay, so now just little refuge prayer. So sweet, little one. Controg, there's right there, if you want to follow. Controg, sumla, kyabsu chi. No, sorry, you should visualize. No, it's okay. Controg, sumla, kyabsu chi. Drola, penche, sange, shog. Controg, sumla, kyabsu chi. Drola, penche, sange, shog. I take refuge in the 3 jewels. May I become a Buddha to benefit all. So now visualize, if you've received empowerment, you visualize yourself as the Buddha. If not, you visualize the Buddha above your crown. Just have Buddha sitting there. You mightn't have good visualization, doesn't matter, just think it. So now you imagine on your tongue the syllable R. Put in the Roman letters if you don't know Sanskrit or Tibetan, AH. Standing upright. R. It turns into a moon disc, like a flat cushion, white, on your tongue. So now on top of that, on top of the moon disc on your tongue, there's a white Om standing upright. And now it's surrounded by the white vowels. Of course, we don't know them, so we just have to pretend. You know, imagine all the white Sanskrit vowels going clockwise around the Om, on our tongue, on the white moon disc. And now you imagine counterclockwise all the red consonants surrounding the white vowels, surrounding the white Om on the moon disc, on your tongue. And now surrounding all of that are the blue mantras of the heart. Rinpoche calls it the blue dependent related heart mantra. We might say the dependent arising, mantra of dependent arising, going clockwise around all of that, all on your tongue. So now we imagine light beams going out from all these syllables. And it goes out to all the 10 directions, north, south, east, west, northeast, northwest, etc., and up and down. That's 10, where all the holy beings abide. And so imagine this light goes out and hooks. What happened? Oh, thank you. Hooks all the blessings and all the energy and all the power of the speech of all the holy beings. As Namazapa says, includes the power of speech of all the Buddhas, all the Arya Bodhisattvas, those who realize emptiness, all of those living in the three bhumis, the pure bhumis, and all the arhants, those who've achieved liberation. The power of the speech of all these beings in all the 10 directions of the universe. And also hooking even just the power of ordinary beings, but who've got virtuous speech. All the sages who've achieved the power of words, who've actualized the words of truth. What that means is it's so simple. They've got the truth, they realize reality in their mind, so the words that come out of their mouth are totally correct, totally perfect. How can they not be? The words are expressions of our thought. They're not separate. I mean, we think they are. We're so bizarre in the West. We have no sense of our speech being useful or relating to our mind at all. So bizarre. All the power of all this holy speech of the whole universe, all being hooked by this light from our mantras, and it all comes back and it all absorbs into the white, the red, and the blue syllables, making them so powerful, So, and they're like almost dripping in nectar because they're, they're so powerful, vibrating this power. All these syllables. Imagine. And so now, next bit, the mantra now. Yeah. So now we will recite the vowels. Here they are, very short, and we visualize these white nectar flowing down from these white vowels on our tongue, and they fills us completely, the entire body. Imagine, so marvelous, completely filling our body with this blissful white nectar and totally purifying all the imprints of all the harm we've ever done since beginningless time with our bodies and our countless past lives. I mean, this life we do bad enough, but when you were a whale, one mouthful of one breakfast in your long, long life, you ate 40 million little beings went in to your mouth. So animals are very good at killing. This is the tragedy of the animal birth. So we've had this lives countless times. We've done so much harm to sentient beings with our bodies and all the time as humans. So all of this, the imprints of all of this, imagine utterly purified by this blissful white nectar flowing down from these white syllables as we recite. Om, a, I, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, svaha. Om, a, I, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, svaha. Om, a, I, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, svaha. Totally purified. How amazing. Full of this blissful nectar. White. So now, as we recite the consonants, the red ones on our tongue, the nectar pours down from these and fills our entire body, and this time purifying all of our speech, us humans, and all the karma we've created from past lives with our speech, even if we're animals, but purifying all the suffering caused by this and all the causes of the suffering. So the harsh speech, the lying, and even we mightn't lie consciously. We love to talk. We know answers to everything. We're all Google. We'll answer anything. So we don't think we're lying. We blurt things out. We're speculating 90% of the time, but we act like we're speaking the truth, and we end up confusing people. I mean, it's so shocking. So all of this, and all the harsh speech, abusing others, and all the bad mouthing behind backs, our favorite activity. And then all the rabbiting on, meaningless, useless words. All of this nonsense that maybe doesn't even harm beings sometimes, just confuses, And of course, it totally makes a mess of our own mind. So all this negative speech purified by this blissful red nectar, completely filling us as we recite the consonants. Om, ka, ka. Oh, yeah, just to say, I'm sorry. Here, there's no accents. There's got to be some accents on the second lot of ta. There's a slightly different sound, and I haven't learned it. And the accents aren't here. We should get those. So Rinpoche mentioned somewhere how to say them, but we'll just do our best. Om, ka, ka, ga, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya, ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, 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 da, na, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma, ya, ra, la, va, sha, sha, sa, hak, sa, svaha. Om, ka, ka, ga, nga, cha, 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 ja, nya, ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, 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 da, na, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma, ya, ra, la, va, sha, sha, sa, hak, sa, svaha. Om, ka, ka, ga, nga, cha, 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 ja, nya, ta, 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 da, na, ta, 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 da, na, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma, ya, ra, la, va, sha, sha, sa, hak, sa, svaha. Totally purified, the red nectar filling us, all our speech cleaned up, imagine. Blissful red nectar filling us. So now, as we recite the syllables of the dependent-related heart mantra, which of course is heart dependent arising, which helps us understand emptiness, blue nectar flows down, fills us completely, and of course purifies our mind of all the delusions. Of course, the root delusion, which is the problem of all, the root, the primordial misconception that utterly and completely believes that everything has an intrinsic nature. Of course, this sounds so weird to us. And why it sounds weird is because it's so primordial, it's so utterly absolute that we see things this way, that we don't know we're seeing things this way. It's like you're colorblind, but you don't even know you're colorblind. Then you're in serious trouble, you know. And this ignorance, it's ignorant of how things exist, but it's like double trouble ignorance. Merely not knowing something, merely not knowing how things exist is bad enough, but that can be fixed. But believing in the opposite, that's the problem. So this ignorance, this marigpa, this primordial misconception that utterly believes there is an intrinsic real me, an intrinsic real everything else, which is the source of attachment and all the other 3,997 delusions, causes us to not only not know that things have no intrinsic nature, that things are merely labels. It causes us to not only know that truth, but we believe, because of this, we believe in the absolute opposite, that everything is absolutely existing, completely from its own side, out there, intrinsically, in and of itself, in and of its own character, from its own side, independent of everything. We don't even know we do this because it's so total and utter. And it's rooted in fear, anxiety and panic and fear, simply because it causes the world, as Lama Zopa says, it causes everything out there to appear back to us in a way that doesn't exist. As Rinpoche says, these delusions, and in fact the root one especially, decorates on top of what is there, out there, characteristics that aren't there. This is the root of our suffering. And it causes, as Lama Yeshe says in Mahamudra, what it does is also, its primordial job is to then posit this concrete, solid, absolute, existing from its own side, panic-stricken, separate me. And of course that implies other. That's the final dualism to go when you become Buddha. No longer a sense of a separate me. And this is the root of all the other problems. Things do not exist like this. It's very simple. And that's why we suffer. Always bumping up into unreality. What we see and what exists is a complete disconnect. This is why we suffer. This is Buddha's analysis. We don't think we do this because it's so total. There's never a second we don't do this. But we only notice, it's like a sleeping lion, but we only notice the symptoms of it when we get attacked or offended or insulted, when bad things happen. Then it wakes up and panic comes. The feeling of I rises. Namazoba says the yogis, when they finally, in their subtle meditation, when they finally see this reality, that this I they believed in since beginningless time has never, doesn't, and could never exist. It's utter bliss, finally seeing truth, which is right in front of us right now. It's staring at us. This truth is not hidden, as Lama Yeshe says. It's not hidden. It's right there, staring at us. If something is black, but you see pink, black is right there staring at you, but you can't see it. So we just see everything informed by ignorance, this maripa, ego grasping. So we visualize, we imagine, wanting so badly, wanting, yearning to see truth. So as we recite the dependent rate heart mantra, we visualize this blue nectar filling us completely and eradicating this nonsense delusion and all the other branch delusions as a result, attachment to the rest, all the lies from the mind. Om yedama hetu pabhawa hetun teshan tatagato yevedat teshan chayo niroda evam vadimaha shamanaya svaha. Om yedama hetu pabhawa hetun teshan tatagato yevedat teshan chayo niroda evam vadimaha shamanaya svaha. Om yedama hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatagato yevedat teshan chayo niroda evam vadi mahashamanaye svaha. Full of this blissful nectar. Blue. Delusion's gone. So now, we visualize, we imagine the dependent rated heart mantra on our tongue, the blue, dissolves into the red consonants. The red consonants dissolve into the white vowels. The white vowels dissolve into the white Om. And then the white Om dissolves into the moon disk. And that then turns into an R. And then the R kind of melts and becomes pink-colored nectar. And it dissolves into your tongue. As Rinpoche says, your tongue becomes indestructible. Feel like now nothing can harm or take away or destroy the power of your speech, the power of mantra. Have strong confidence that all the power and the blessings of all the speech of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and sages and yogis have entered your speech, and that your speech is perfected. I have perfected my speech. And now think the second any sentient being hears your speech, even your laugh, even your burp, I promise, it pacifies their emotional and disturbing thoughts. And whatever you say, and this is what's powerful, we need to have things done. We need to get things done. We need to ask for the ice cream. We have to tell people what to do. It will be actualized. Your speech has power. People will then do your wishes. Thinking your tongue is like heavy, as Rinpoche says. So now thinking this way, the power of your speech becomes marvelous. And whatever you recite is multiplied by millions of times, 10 millions, and your speech will not become like gossip. By the power of mantra, the power of your speech will not be snatched by eating. I think that's, but the things we do with our speech, when you're saying mantras during a retreat, for example, when you're doing your mantras and you're counting, because that's how you kind of quantify a retreat in terms of the number of mantras you say. It's just a way of measuring it. And so when you do your session of mantras, like an hour or something in the middle of your sadhana, then you shouldn't cough, you shouldn't burp, you try to keep it as pure and powerful as possible, And so we dedicate this sweet little dedication prayer. May my tongue have all the courage of the ones gone to bliss. By the power manifesting from these glorious words, may all sentient beings be subdued. And whatever words I say, may all these actions be accomplished instantly. So now we have time. We can do a few more blessing mantras. Come on. We can blessing our mala. If you have your mala, get your mala. We can say your mantra and blow on your mala. If you haven't got your mala, never mind. You can save the blessing for later. So Om Ruchiramani Pravataya Hung. 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 So you say that 7 times, you blow on your mala. This increases the power of your mantras. You recite over 1 sextillion. Lama Zopa loves all these numbers. Over 6 trillion times. All right. This is from the Sutra, Unfathomable Celestial Mansion, Great Increasing Jewel. Lama Zopa knows mantras, and Lama Zopa knows sutras that no one else has heard of, I promise. He's a magician. Next one. There's more blessings. Oh, no, that's it. Okay, that's done. Enough. Okay, you people, you're blessed now. Go out and benefit sentient beings with your mouths and everything else as well, hopefully. All right, darlings, precious, goodbye. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Robina.